Yeah, you heard that?
Yeah. What's up, man? I dig the Aloha shirt, dude.
You know what? I think I'm gonna hold on.
All right.
Do something, my brother.
I did. I said I dig your Aloha shirt, man.
Oh, thank you, dude. That's right.
That shit's so fly. I should have busted mine. I gotta wear mine for one of these things, man. That's good. That's great. Oh man.
How you been?
How have I been?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've had nothing but time really to work on music, and I've just been exercising a butt ton. And I've been trying to do like this online Crestron training and stuff like outside of music. And I'm slowly building this like portfolio of commercial kind of music and stuff like that. So that's kind of been the latest and greatest outside of really pushing tunes. I just finished that Undersound remix, and I posted that to the world. Yeah, I fucking did a first music video. That was pretty tight.
I really vocals, brother.
Huh?
I was digging those vocals quite a bit.
Yeah, sick. Yeah. I love doing vocals, man. That is my jam. I mean, I haven't sampled a vocal since. Well, no, I've tried starting a project and sampling one vocal, and I got my homegirl from Hawaii, but she's in LA now, and she's like this, like death metal rapper alien type shit, dude, and she's got like this deep, it's sick, dude, it's badass. And so I'm like remixing one of her tracks, and that's still underway, but it's like totally fitting for hardcore. It's just like trying to get that hardcore style down. It's like a lot of my shit has like been hard sci and stuff lately, for the most part. That and reverse bass, you know, or anti-climax, non big melody stuff, you know. And if it is a melody, it's going like right back into reverse bass, man. That's kind of just been what I've been noticing in my tunes. Right on. What about you?
You know, actually, same. I've been making some commercial type deals, some scores, like little trailer clips, things of that nature. I've been working on a lot of hip hop too.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, I've been just doing all kinds of stuff, reggaeton. Still grinding away at Psytrance. Actually, I'm finishing one up right now. And after that, I just have to finish up a collaboration with my boy Jetto. Shout out Jetto.
Jetto.
We're gonna knock that out pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, I've been just keeping busy. Gonna be moving pretty soon too. So I'm gonna have to, you know, get a new room analysis and set up treatment all over again. So that'll be fun.
When are you moving?
Potentially on the 1st of March.
Really?
And I'm still ironing out some details, but it seems like it's going down. And
that's gonna be so fun, just like replacing all the treatment and stuff like that. It's a bigger room?
See, it depends on exactly how I set it up. I could set it up in, you know, a bedroom, or I could set it up in the living room, which would be it would probably sound really well because the walls aren't perpendicular, you know, or they're not parallel, you know, they've got like angles to it. So I was kind of thinking about that as well, you know, maybe having like a setup in the living room, watch movies and stuff.
Is the kitchen pretty closely connected?
It is. And I mean, I'm not going to have like an equal left and right, but I'm not too worried about it.
I got another question real fast. Is your phone volume up? Like, is the speaker playing back through there?
Shouldn't know. No.
Okay, good. I hear a tiny little loop.
You know, I am too. And I'm not, that's why I got on the headphones. It's weird. Let me see where that's coming from.
Okay.
Can you say something?
I'll cut this part out. Yep. Check. Hey.
All right. Yeah, it's weird because I guess I can't bring the volume all the way down. Or how about that?
It's a little, but you know, it's minor.
Yeah.
It's not going to feed back. It's just like it's slightly audible if you pay attention hard enough.
Yeah, I could hear it. It's kind of annoying.
Maybe like in the media playback settings.
It's weird because like you're muted here,
Uh-huh.
mic's muted, and the volume's all the way down here. Yet still kind of hearing that feedback. I thought it was the headphones for a sec, but like some kind of delay.
Well, you know what? If it's not coming from your phone, I think you should be good. We'll be good.
I think we're good now, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Boom.
Yep. Cool.
Sweet. Just a little bit of placement, dude.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah, I'm actually moving in another spot fucking on April 1st. And we're refurnishing a garage. So we're actually building walls, and I'm gonna suggest to put up the walls because it's like my dad's girlfriend's spot, and they gave the okay to live in there. And so I'm gonna try to build walls to where it's like, it's 1 by 1 by 2, 1.2 by 1.6. So like it's 9, and then like it's gonna be like hopefully 11 or 12 or something, and then the length is 16. Hopefully just to kind of get ahead of the curve a little bit to try to, when all the treatment does get put in, just to be ahead of that a little bit. Now, I haven't even entertained the idea of like slanted walls, but I don't think that's possible because there's going to be 3 right angles or 2 right angles or 3 flat walls. So we're basically adjusting only one wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's kind of the name of the game with that, man. But, yeah. Have you already gotten used to your system at the house and stuff like that since you, did the whole, calibration?
I have.
Yeah.
I've actually dialed it in a little more.
How so?
So like when you do the analysis of your room, say like it'll work best if it's under 60 dB. So if like you have a dip or like a peak over 60 dB, it might be a little too much for the software to kind of like give you a clean signal. So I moved some things around. I played with speaker placement, really tried to get it as flat as possible, in my current situation, and I was able to manage to get a better low end by spreading out the speakers a little more. Well, I'm not really in a equilateral triangle at the moment, but in the listening position, sonically, it sounds a lot better, and it kind of opened up the image because now the speakers are about like I think it's about like 5 feet apart.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I was able to kind of like smoothen out the low end and make SonarWorks, work a little bit less. And yeah, I've been really enjoying it. It's now that I've been sitting with it a little bit longer, I've come to realize there is an element that I kind of don't like about it, because I feel like it does kind of have like some color, if you will, and it sounds a little cleaner. The signal sounds a little cleaner when I'm not running it. So sometimes I'll like, switch between the two, but ultimately when it's time to mix, definitely throw that on because the low end just cleans up a lot better. But when I'm producing, I'll turn it off. And I just kind of like how it feels while I'm making the music. It just feels a little bit more exciting. Maybe it's because I'm a little more familiar with it. I'm not sure, but I feel a little more excited working on it without it. And then when it comes to mixing, we'll slap it on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. That's yeah. I mean, that speaker placement is like a big thing. And I remember like when I have these wider too. They're wider than equilateral triangle. They're like 6.5. It's like 6.5 feet, man. It's kind of crazy. I mean, it's like a huge isosceles, probably where my arms are. It's not like where it used to be before, where it was right here. And I was getting like 15 dB dips at like 90, 100 hertz. And that's like, boom, kick region right there. You know what I mean? And even yet, even after placing these, I measured him in stereo and I'm like, oh, that's great. It's 5 dB, plus or minus, And then actually recently, like last week, I'm like, you know what? There's just something still not translating right, So I measured left and right, and they're so different from each other. It's like, how are they that different? Mike's still in the same place. I'm putting it right near my head. You know what I mean? And there's like still big cuts, and they're at different frequencies too. And, but I think, when you had mentioned, the imaging, And I mean, something I noticed in the imaging for sure is like that low mid spread. If something's like too phasey when it's wide or like lopsided in a way, the phasiness, at least I'm able to tell more on that width. Are you kind of noticing things like that as well, or what?
Somewhat, yeah. Like I think because there's more room for the low end to kind of expand. So
Right.
like so focused.
Uh-huh.
Like now it has a little more room to kind of show me what's going on.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of things are a little more apparent, cleaned up some of the mud, like I said. Um, I'm curious to see how this setup's going to sound in the new place. I want to see if I'm going to use a subwoofer or not.
Right.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Are you gonna carpet?
There's a carpet in the bedroom. There's wood floors in the living room, so it's gonna be a little more of a lively sound, a bigger sound in the living room, probably a lot tighter in the bedroom scenario.
Right.
I would need obviously to use a lot of absorption to manage the low end.
I haven't been in a wood room since at least probably 6 years. I mean, I've been in carpet like ever since. Even the studio I was renting, that was carpet. And but it had a bigger ceiling, so just sound had a little more room to travel. It definitely does notice. I do notice that it is a little more dead in here because this is carpet in here. But I don't know how that would affect low end personally, and I'm super curious because that garage is hard ass cement that we're gonna go in. So I mean, I don't know. It's it's gonna be another experiment, that's for sure, and yeah. I mean, but for right now, it's like the whole game changing of like, holy crap, speaker placement is like everything. And I remember like reading on forums and watching videos of guys who just literally like they'd show plots and graphs of like crazy peaks and dips and just talk about moving speakers and like just how that would control, at least it would allow an easier sense of control when actually applying acoustic treatment.
Right.
And I really still am not too educated on like when to properly use diffusion and stuff because it's all absorbers in here basically. And I mean, like it's still at least getting it done. But one thing I did, after moving these to the side, and after measuring them left and right last week, Room EQ Wizard has like this auto. It has this EQ function to where it shows you where your peaks and dips are, because I still haven't bought SonarWorks. My roommate has it, and I still have not made that investment. But there's a couple of things I learned from that. After applying those, it shows you the filters, the bandwidth, and I had opened ProQ and put that on my master, and I did that to up to 500 hertz. And two things I noticed: one, how out of phase the upper region is just on placement, because I think everything in my room is like shifted like an inch this way for some reason. Like my monitor isn't like mounted fully perfectly, and so I look at the center and I still, like when I only placed them and did it based on listening, that's kind of how I went, just by staring at the monitor. But when I applied those filters, it's like, whoa, the center is really, truly like low end in phase, and like the highs and mids are still kind of a little loppy. But I've gotten so used to these that it's like, I know them pretty darn well now. And on top of that, I had recently opened some projects that I was working on like 4 months back, and I did a whole cable upgrade in here. I built some Mogami 2549. And it was from like Geo XLR to like, and I had locally found some dude selling like 12 Mogami 2534, and they're a different type of copper connection, different conductance. And I went to that and I'm like, wow, I noticed a difference. Hey, but other people are using the 2549 and I'm seeing that more and more and more. So I built some, and it's hard to notice how it was before, but I'm noticing that when I open these projects, I'm like, wow, how did I really not catch that? And I can say for sure that the Genelecs that I'm using, those things opened up like, whoa, like, holy shit, you know, they sound like I'm actually referencing a little better on these now. And, but the Barefoots, they're already like, you know, of course they're already, you know, good enough monitors that it was harder to notice what opened up. So I guess I would really have to go back and put in some Joe XLRs and repatch everything. But I'm going from my DAC to a monitor splitter, then to the speakers, and I got to go behind there and kind of repatch everything. And it's not easy to AB, you know, you have to really like go back and just work with the regular cables again for a while. But I will say that cable upgrade it makes a big difference for sure.
Very interesting.
Okay. So if you're looking for a cheaper upgrade of like, what else can I do? Get some good XLRs, man. I mean, there's a whole rat hole if people want to get into with like power cables, but I think I don't need to go down that rabbit hole. And because I actually emailed Barefoot, I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about these power cables? And what do you guys think about XLRs? They're like, well, power cables are going to be a rabbit hole that we decided not to go down. And for, you know, reference, it's kind of a industry standard. They said they actually suggested Mogami Gold. So then I started looking into it and seeing what other people are using. There's like other brands. In fact, there's a YouTube video I watched of like this guy who's testing like 10 different cables on a mic. He's like talking into a mic and somebody's playing guitar, and that was like, wow, cables do make a difference. So yeah, I'm going to chuck that in the chat. I forgot I'm screen sharing, so I'll chuck that in a message to you later.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Cables they're an underrated element in the chain. Like I, over time, definitely just switched everything to Mogami Gold. You know, I have like a million cables of various brands and of usage and aged, but at the end of the day, I found that the Mogami sounded like pretty clean to me.
Yeah. Is that what you're using right now too?
That's what I'm using right now. And before these, I used to run my speakers through a snake. So they were Mogami Gold, but like very like a thin, I don't know if you've seen what the Mogami's snakes look like, but even those sounded really good, even better than some, you know, like more of a insulated cable. Because, you know, they weren't as insulated because the construction so that you could fit, like, you know, I think it's like 12 cables through a whole snake.
Okay.
About the size of a dime. So they're a little smaller, but they still sounded really good. But yeah, I just decided to get, you know, some full size cables for this.
Are they the 2549s or the 2534s?
The 34s.
34s?
Yeah.
Yeah. I at least to me, I noticed the difference from going there to the 49s and the Jennies. And I'm like, shoot, I might as well just buy it bulk, man. It's going to be expensive if I buy them whole, you know what I mean? Like already packaged and the whole thing.
Right.
But yeah, that's cool that you did that upgrade too, man.
Yeah. I'm warranty, man.
Yeah, that's true, right? I know. Yeah.
I don't ever buying some again, to be honest.
Chances are, right, exactly. You probably won't even need to buy them again.
I got a question for you, buddy.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've met through our mutual love for hardstyle. And
yeah.
Hardstyle, you know, I don't remember exactly when we met. I want to say it's going on maybe over 6 years at least.
Not
you.
Yes.
And, you know, there's been a lot of debate in the hardstyle community and the hard dance community about sampling. So I'm really curious on what you think about, you know, sampling kicks or sounds, or maybe using like a sampled professional kick and using like maybe the low end, or layering samples, or what's your take on that? Do you frown upon it?
So
frown down on it?
I used to eat myself away thinking about that kind of stuff, and it's come to the conclusion that it's like, one, I've tried it, and you can't do it just raw as is. You know what I mean? It's super hard to do. And truthfully, you end up adding some layer to it anyway, you know, and it depends on what it is. You know, if you're taking the attack, if you're taking the top end of the tail, some of that 150 hertz, you know, give or take 150 hertz region, sub bass. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, what does the rest of the track sound like? You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, it's been like a good 7 or 8 years since that. I remember that coming up, and everything is already sounding, you know, pretty solid as is. And it's like there's always a next level to take the part of the music, you know what I mean? Like from the sound design to like you know, maybe suspenseful risers to like breaks before the drop to like adding stuff to the drop to drum mixing to you know, how reverb mixing to, of course, mastering. It's like there's so many other details that one has to worry about past sampling a kick that it's like, you know what, go for it, you know what I mean? At this point, there are some things that still eat me away within the scene. I don't know if I want to go too far into that, but you know, I'm basically, I'll just say that just keep working hard as your own artist and don't worry about people who aren't creating their own material. And that's what I try to tell myself, you know what I mean? And I used to just build resentments over that, you know, and when really it's like, what am I doing about it? You know, I'm just part of the problem now at that point, you know, worrying about it. And fuck, I know that I'm just going to keep doing my due because I'm pretty stoked of how my stuff's sounding nowadays. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just holding its own. Right. And I think if I just keep that sense of peace that the little things like that, like sampling or completely not even creating their own songs, I've kind of come at a little bit more of a peace with that. The fact that I am getting better at what I'm doing.
Right on.
Yeah. So, and yeah, I used to just get so upset over that kind of stuff. It's kind of, I'm over it now. There's so many sample packs and so many good samples out there nowadays. It's like, it's going to get lost in the mix anyway, you know?
Right.
Why? What are you thinking?
You know, I kind of went through a similar train of thought as you did. Like I used to heavily frown down on it. You know, when I started my Hardstyle journey, I was trying to make everything out of scratch, you know, because I would see these old freaking Headhunter noise controller studio videos and then breaking down Frontliner, then breaking down exactly how they would construct it and what steps they would take, and, you know, distorted EQ, blah, blah, blah. So I was always, you know, I was convinced, I'm like, this is the way you do it. If they're doing it this way and they have the best sound, this is the way it's supposed to be done. Right. And, you know, after listening to Hardstyle for so many years and becoming familiar with certain producers' sound, I was able to distinguish when somebody will rip a kick, and I would get a little angry or I don't know, I would feel some type of way about it. And yeah, I mean, ultimately over time, I think a lot of producers come to a point, if you do take no shortcuts and you build everything from scratch, you do realize that, you know, you start to make things that sound like maybe some samples, and it just took you, you know, maybe a week or two to make, when, you know, maybe you didn't really have to spend all that time to kind of, you know, get it to that point. And, you know, of course, nowadays I can get those results a lot sooner, but ultimately, you know, somebody could have an incredible ear, but it's like, what do you do with that nice kick or let's say even a synthesis of, you know, you make a nice screech. It's like, but now it's like, what are you going to do with that great sound? And at the end of the day, it's really about music. So, I mean, me personally, I don't really care anymore. If it helps your workflow, then fantastic. I think in hard dance especially, and if you want to do it at the highest levels and you want to be taken seriously, you do want to understand the fundamentals of how to use distortion to your advantage and how exactly they're achieving these results, because it'll help you in your creative process and, you know, helping you build a more unique sound that's tailored to your taste. But at the end of the day, you know, if you make good music but you ripped some kicks, fuck it.
It's not a game
I'm not worried
breaker.
about it. If the song's
Yeah,
a banger and it's making me feel something and you're taking me somewhere with your music, I think that's what matters at the end of the day.
true that. Yeah. And I think, both of us have probably made enough content to where we could just take something we've already made and just like improve on it and put it in the next track anyway. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, dude, I got enough material where I can just go in, edit this, mod this, and just throw it in the track and just see what happens. And sometimes a sample, let's say even a sample doesn't even work with the track you're using. Then what? You know what I mean? Then you, as the producer, got to be that expert to try to navigate around that, right? You know what I mean? So samples really aren't everything.
Yeah, no, it's what you do in the lab at the end of the day, and it's how you make things coexist in your song. Like that's the bottom line.
I think we're the only genre that worries about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know what? I've really pondered as to why that is. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of an elitist element to the but, I was totally contributed to it, like I mentioned before, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure why that is, but I think part of it has kept the sound pure, but at the same time, times change, and it's nice to have some, have maybe some creative minds use some of their creative juices for other things to push the sound.
All right. Have you ever seen those plugins, Rob Papin's Raw Kick and the Playas Kick Generator?
I've seen them. I've never used them, but
those things are ridiculous.
Yeah. Also, Serum has a kick pack. I don't remember exactly what it's called. I actually have it. It's really cool. Actually, it's really useful. I think you can make a ton of punches with different characteristics, and they've already mapped out a bunch of like filters. So you can filter things out or add distortion or mess with the length of your punches or tail.
You have to show me that. I'm going to write this down.
I definitely don't think like the sounds necessarily sound great on their own. You still need a lot of processing to go along with it. But they are a great starting point for you to kind of like figure out what kind of kick would sound cool in that part and stuff like that. It might not be like 100%, like I said, maybe more like 60% there, but more or less, like I like this tone. I like more hardcore element versus like a new style kick. Who says new style anymore?
I know. Yeah. That's 2011 right there, 2010.
But oh yeah, I mean, like it just kind of gives you a quick way to manipulate these sounds to kind of see what fits in your song, or maybe kind of come at a certain part in your song at a different direction, and maybe have a happy accident and have something cool at the end of the day, which I think I like that. But
happy accident. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've been throwing just old kicks, like literally old kicks, like fucking 5-year-old kicks. They sound like junk, into like Nimble Kick, and just using like some of their distortion plugs, and like then adding my own distortion plugs, and then just band passing them in certain areas, and just layer EQing of like other kicks. It gets retarded in some of my projects, but at the end it's like I'm pumped. Yeah. So it's then it comes back to, right, the creativity part. What do you do? How do you make it a whole thing, right?
Absolutely. So that brings me to another question then.
Yes.
Which is I think we could all agree that in hard dance, the kick is like one of the most important, if not the absolute biggest element in a track.
Right.
So how do you typically go about building one yourself? I'd like to hear your take on it. I would like to share what I do too. But more or less, do you use layers? Do you separate your punch from your kick? Do you have several punches?
Wow. Actually, I'm going to try to pull up a project right now and see if I could screen share and I can show you. Right. I actually just started one the other day, and actually started, well, it's like 3 in a track, but let me save this project. I have I have another project open. I'm recording this in OBS too, so they're seeing all of that shebang.
Right on.
But I recently started a track where it's I have this like, you know, kind of traditional kick drum punch, and then like it's like this distorted tail that came from a hardstyle kick that I used like way back when. And I don't remember what I did to make that sample, but that's one of like the 5 samples that I'm using in Layer. Well, no, I think there's 3 real samples. And I'm calling them samples because they're finished audio clips that are being then modulated, right? You know, not actually taken from a pack or anything.
Right.
And then I have an actual like hard kick layer with like a more, I guess, generic hardstyle sounding tail, but I have that here. Watch when I pull up this project. I don't think we'll be able to hear it though, because I have not found a way to get Ableton. No, I can get Ableton in the Zoom, but I have to just put it on MME drivers. So I actually can show the peoples. And once I put this plugin Restream on it, I'll be able to capture it in OBS recording. So yeah. So basically, for this track, I have also a layer of Rob Papin's raw kick just for an attack punch, because there's just so many different variety that I could choose from. I haven't gotten the Playas plugin kick yet. I got Illusion's Screech fucking contact tool, which is fucking amazing. Actually, I think it's so sick. And the Playas kick one is also a contact tool that's actually under Lussive Music, which is Illusion's company or brand, their website. So I think, yeah, hell yeah, dude. Shout out to Illusion, man. Your fucking tools are amazing. And I think he probably wrote those in like conjunction with, I don't know how they collaborated on it, but it's the Playas kick thing, you know? So yeah. So basically, long story short, I have a traditional kick drum punch with like Sonic Academy kick 2. I have my one sample layer of hard kick with the tail, and I have another sample with like traditional kick with the tail, and I'm like doing bandpass stuff in the low end, and I have an attack layer with Rob Papin's raw kick, and I have one more like upper like buzzy sizzly thing from Rob Papin's raw kick. This is all just from memory of how this project is. So okay, I'm gonna pull this up. I have my project open right now. Let me go here to MME DirectX. Let me make sure my power consumption is up to speed. High performance. Okay, good. Windows, I gotta check. I adjust the power thing sometimes when I go to sleep. I'm like, okay, speakers, audio. You're gonna have to tell me if you hear this too. So this is gonna be key. I'm gonna share screen.
Run it.
Yeah, buddy. Dude, thank you so much for making the time to do this. This is so cool. All right, so can you see this?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Army Baby Frost DX. I don't know if it's the DX or Wave, so we're gonna take a gander. Can you hear this? You can?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, legend.
It's correct, but it sounds good to me.
All right, let me just try this. I don't know if this will make a difference, but I might have SonarWorks on, so it might sound funky. Yeah, I do. So let me turn that off. I'm using headphones. I copped these HD 700s for like $330 the other week, so I'm pumped on that. And those with SonarWorks sound freaking badass. Like I've found that like I'm picking up my LCDXs much less and less, and I'm going to the 6XXs and the 700s much more. Okay, so can you hear this?
Yeah. Heard it.
All right, the other one had better latency, so I'm gonna go back.
It did.
I might be also oversampling in Pro L2, so yeah, turn that off. There we go. That kills my CPU. All right, so I have here kick and bass, and there's 1, 2, 3. Well, in this beginning part, there's 1, 2, and 3. Literally just 3. So right now I got this. Just that thing. This I have. Oops. Oh, that's not even on. So literally I have that. I have two. I just have two things going. And then for this top layer, let me try to move this zoom icon. There we go. I have this thing. And I have I have like a few that I'm automating towards the end of the track. So that's what's going on here. And then like for this climax, I'm just gonna skip past this. And I have this, so I was using this in the beginning. This is a little different. This is a little more traditional-y, you know what I mean? This is just like way overdriven. That works perfect for the beginning. And then, yeah, I don't even have this top layer on. Nope. But I do have a different punch right here, as opposed to that. And I've kind of mixed them how I need to for the particular portions of the track. And then literally, this is just fucking kick drum. My boy showed me this Kashmir Essentials kick. It's an effect, and it's basically almost like a bunch of one knobs, you know what I mean? You just fucking play around until it sounds good. But I guess before and after, just a little upper. It's a, you know, it just beats past EQing sometimes, and it still keeps things tight without it's almost like some multi-band things going on, or some narrow band type stuff.
Yeah, I love that thing. It's probably one of my favorite free plugins of last year.
Yeah, it's a freebie too, you know?
Yeah, adding a little top end, a little air.
Yeah.
What you could do with it, and it's really good for like those club type kicks too, because you can really get the transient. Because you know, in hardstyle you need that punch to like cut through.
Yeah, to cut through.
So like, you have the transient up maybe like at 14 or something. 12.
Yeah. Yep.
You boosted the sub right there to make that thing thump. I see.
I think I'm kind of just like going by ear, and then I think as I adjusted the comp and pressure knobs, it like definitely affected like the transient attack and then like the dip of the sustain. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of played around back and forth with everything until it kind of, it's really not much different, but it's a little, you know, it's enough, right? You know?
I'm sure it feels different.
Yes, it does. So I guess I have this going here too. This used to be, and then I just did some crazy ass EQing. It's retarded. Also, one thing I've actually really found helpful is I take this, it's a 3-band EQ, right? You know, so there's like a cross point right here, 55 hertz and 439 hertz. And of course, with these, you know, certain decibels per octave cuts, I've found that for low end and phasing and things of the sort, I mean, it's kind of useless right now because so much of that is being high passed. But earlier before, when I had, I was like, what was I doing? What's useful to show? No. Anyhow, if I've noticed that okay, right here, perfect. This is actually bass going on, right? So. I don't know if you can notice that difference, but because of that, like, almost, you know, all pass going on, it's actually creating a phase in a nice way to where it's almost creating harmonics in another frequency region, which I guess right now it's somewhere around this point. It's not exact, but I've noticed it can add or take away character. Usually I'm on the add phase. Oh, obviously there's 6 dB gain right here too, so but even yet I'm hearing like 140 hertz kind of thing going on, so I don't know if you have a 3-band EQ, you know, and it's for me that's been freaking awesomely helpful and to kind of lining up even with like the kick and the sub, you know, it's just you kick and sub. I'll put this at 0 dB. I can hear that fine tune, especially in the barefoots, but basically that's kind of what I got going on right now. So altogether it's Huh?
I'm digging the sound of this track here.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm so stoked in this track, man. It's a low key gonna be something for the future, but yeah, and I'm still working on these. I'm working on actually trying to separate these tracks into 5 EPs and do a little storytelling of that. And yeah, this fucking track I'm so pumped on. I mean, I came up with the vocals in like 15 minutes, and it's just like shot phrasing. I want to do longer vocals though again, man. I miss doing like big, longer hook lines and stuff. Like I did that cover. Well, I'm still working on finishing it. I'm gonna stop the share of Zatox's and Brennan Hart's Fight the Resistance, and I had this totally idea of that, and I like took the medley of it and took like the phrase. What's a good word? Kind of the phrasing. I guess I'll use phrasing. And the way the delivery of each line, and kind of re-switched up the words and stuff like that. And it kind of has the same theme. It's almost like I copied it in a way, but I changed the lyrics. And that was a nice long chunk of vocal that was mad fun. And I do like different vocal timbres of like this deep. It's like, yeah, I love it, dude. It's so fun. And after just getting so used to the effect chain and like knowing what sounds good, and plus like I've been using the slate modeling stuff, and oh man, that's just been awesomely fun. I'll even take like I helped mix my friend's hip hop track, and I don't know what they recorded with, but I just throw that plugin on anyway and just do the different mic whatever emulators, and it's really probably not going to equal out to the sound. But it's a tool. It's a fun tool. You know what I mean? Because when I do it on my own voice, I like work with like maybe 3 or 4 different mics, depending on the track. And I wonder if that's like jumping too far ahead of totally changing the entire mix because the vocal mix is different. But I think at the end of the day, it'll sound just fine.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I love vocals though, man. Yeah, so I mean, in between of like the whole speaker shift placement and stuff like that, upgrading the cables, I took away my desk, actually. I took away my entire desk. There is no desk right here. There is just like a keyboard and like this thing is like 7 inches long, and that's about it. Ah! Where are you going, camera?
Maybe?
Huh?
No desk reflections. I love it.
No desk reflections. Dude, I saw this Sennheiser's Ambio studio, and they built this desk, and it's like cut and it's perforated almost like a like diffusion pattern, but it's the entire thing is perforated. There's like just their holes like this, like quarter-sized holes. It's so sick.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I imagine those desks are expensive, but I mean this defeats half that battle anyway. No desk and just keyboard. Yeah, and when I took this away, those dips got worse in here, dude. It was like, what the hell? And that's what kind of made me like split these to the corner.
Right.
Yeah. So where did you put yours? Like, are yours in a corner, or like, are they near the center a little bit?
Let me show you.
Yeah, let's see.
Here's my ugly mug. All right, so you can see.
That's so sick.
To the corners.
Yes.
Right. So that's about 5 feet. I mean, it's exactly 67.5 inches. So I'm not exactly sure how that translates to feet right now off the top of my head.
Are your Genox on little baby stands?
They're on little baby stands in the middle.
That's so cool.
I have them on the inside because I didn't want to spread these out too much, because for their size, surprisingly, they kind of do give a pretty decent amount of low end and not low end, but like low mid information that gives you the 10s
or the 20s. These
are the 10s, the 8010s.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
They're honestly fantastic. I'm never ever gonna get rid of those. They are for the size of the cabinet and in this price range, they're some of the most transparent little suckers you can get. The only speaker that I found that probably beat these a little bit, and I wish I would have kept those, to be honest with you. Now that when I look back on it, I was really enjoying those, and they had just a little more information, which was the Focal CMS 40s.
Oh, really?
Dude, those things sound absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And they're so rare now. I
Yeah.
had those for about a month, and I ended up returning them for these because these were a lot cheaper, and they're essentially like like the competitor. And I just wanted something in the Genelec family in my arsenal because, as you
Mm-hmm.
can see, I have the focals already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's just nice to have, especially since I do make hard dance on occasion. It's nice to have something in the Genelec family because pretty much everyone's using it, and it does have that hyped top end that allows you to dial in your distortions. And so I ended up going with them. But man, I couldn't believe how just absolutely transparent those CMS 40 sounded. Like I swear I was hearing 40 hertz coming out of those little 4-inch woofers.
Really?
Yeah, and since they're front ported, they're not pushing a whole bunch of air. It was just super clean, and their inverter tweeter just sound incredible, as usual. And I think that one is a beryllium and aluminum blend,
Huh.
which I don't exactly know the details of what they're doing over there, the chemists over at Focal. But beryllium is their preferred metal to use for their tweeters, and they made
Huh.
a blend for that one. But if my memory serves me well, it just sounded so incredible, a little bit better than these. But these are fantastic too, never getting rid of them. It's just so transparent since you don't really have like the subs there. You really get to hear the mid range for what it really is with no mud whatsoever. One of the best reference monitors out there, I think.
There, I mean, there is something special about the Jennies, dude. They just for hard kicks, especially. I mean, like I don't know what it is about them. Like they just have that good enough information to where you can find a balance with that lower mid upper bass region all the way to the sub. And like even the transients are well enough. There's still some detail with the high end and stuff. I'm like kind of a little bit conflicted on, but then again, if you can get them to sound clear on these, it's like they do fairly well with the translation and stuff. And I found a pair of the 4030s, which are the 8030s, basically just with a different Phoenix connector. For a fucking jug price. And I ended up scooping them because I wanted to get them for my dad. I almost kept them, but then I had, gone back and forth from those to these. And I'm like, you know what? These are good size enough. These are the 20s. And to where the detail is still there and it's not pushing out a ton of sub. And really, I think I'm glad I made that choice because after I set up the 30s at his spot, I think he'll be able to use them more than I because he's moving to a different place and he's going to use them as mains, which makes sense because if he stuck with the 20s, he had the 20s before and I had gotten those from some cheap deal on offer. For some reason, people want to get rid of the 40 series for way cheaper. I don't get it. They're the same driver, same cabinet, same tweeter, same power supply, same just different connector, same internal wiring. And
they're just older.
Just different connector. It's just a Phoenix connector, All you got to do is just cut the end of an XLR to get some bulk cables, strip it off, and screw it down, Is really not much. Well, maybe some gain control, I guess. I think it's just the way they marketed it is like XLR is better. Wow. When really it's still 3-pin. You got a positive, negative, and a ground, And but I think that, like you said, keep those smaller form factors, you could and still getting a pump of detail out of them. That's, bigger isn't always better, and I'm glad that I stuck with these basically. Long story short, glad I didn't need to go bigger. I didn't need to. They had too much. They had way more low end than I need for even already in here.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I'm super curious about those CMSs though, man. I've always been.
The CMSs, like I've heard the 5-inch, and I think they have a 6.5-inch woofer version. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but
yeah, they do.
I've heard 6.5-inch woofer before, and I didn't really like them as much. Like I think they kind of sound a little smiley face to me.
Huh.
Like kind of like a little bright on the top end. Maybe there's like they scooped out some of the high mid, and then you've got like the like a pretty full round low end, you know, and they're front ported and stuff. So it comes out relatively tight, but I just felt like they were a little I don't know, a little bland sounding, and it's probably because it's that scoop in the high mids that I felt weren't really there. And I don't know, I just didn't really find them as enjoyable to work on. Like I've worked on, you know, a bunch of different types of Genelecs too, and I there's just something about the top end that sounds nice and sweet, but they're just really flat across the board. Like I don't really hear a lot of like scoops, you know, like going on in especially the top end. But yeah, just that 4-inch driver, man. It was a really nice sweet spot. It gave me the impression of a more expensive speaker, you know, and I would imagine with like a little 8-inch sub, that could be perfect for a small room. You know,
With
like
the CMS 40s?
CMS 40s, yeah. Like if you're
Gotcha.
in CMS 40s with like a 8-inch Yamaha subwoofer and like a freaking 9x10 room or something, that would be more than enough to probably you know, get something somewhat full range to work on. But yeah, miss those suckers. But yeah, you definitely have a great combo there. You've got your barefoot, something a little more full range, and your Genelex. So I mean, that's kind of it right there. That's all you really
Yeah,
need.
dude.
You
I
have a
mean,
nice pair of
having
headphones.
him, I mean, even, you know, both of us, you know, having a full range and having just a little guy. I mean, I even got some little Logitech speakers connected. I have 4 pairs of headphones, which I really use like 3 of them, mostly 2 right now. And these are just for tracking because they're closebacks. And I go back and forth just for different flavor, really, you know.
Right.
And I've been going to my car a decent amount more often, but I've really just been like focusing on mixing in mono.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, I've learned some like just awesome like mono and steer and wide and sound separation tools and tricks in Ableton within the same channel and stuff like that. So like I feel like my isolation for like especially the center field and then like how I'm isolating the reverbs and like it's just been getting so much better over the past 3 months, I'd say.
Right on.
And the translation seems to be like, I'm like, all right, I kind of figured that was going to happen kind of translation, not like, what does it actually sound like kind of translation?
Right.
You know, like, I'm not sure if this is going to sound like this, but it's more of like, okay, I think because it sounds like this in here and because it sounds, you know, it's going to sound good, that it might not sound as good in there because of, you know, X, Y, or Z. And that's been so much more of my experience lately. And I'm calling it too. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to go. I think this, you know, it's really with sub bass because I mean, with the bigger, you know, drivers, of course, it's going to like be able to push that energy easier. But then it doesn't go to say on a bigger system, it's still going to sound good. That's not always the answer though, right? You know, at least that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to stick to, right? You know, I want it to sound good and as many platforms as possible. And even on like cheapy headphones, some cheapy headphones, sometimes they're designed to like, oh, this is going to sound good anyway, you know?
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I've been loving oh, where is it? Come on. There we go. I've been loving the HD700 and the SonarWorks by themselves. They sound like garbage, honestly, in my opinion. I'm sorry for any of you HD700 fans, but there's like a huge high, like resonant at 6K, no matter what you put on. But like that flattening of that SonarWorks is doing, it's like I haven't heard an 800 for years, and nor do I even want to entertain spending 4 times as much to while I still can get work done on these, you know. And even the LCDXs, they're cool, you know. The sub bass on them is like is butter. You can fine tune things in there that are awesome. But I'm finding I'm using them less and less because if I can get them to sound decent on the 6s or the 7s, then that's really kind of been more of where my fun is going recently. So I don't know. And I had built some like custom cables for these too. I had built some 4-pin XLR because I got a headphone amp that has a 4-pin connection, and it definitely sounds better with some higher end cable, but it's just more open. It's not like it's like, whoa, this is a whole new headphone now. You know, it's like you still have the same cans, you're still having the same imaging. Like, you know, it's just like things just become a little bit more apparent. And I went back and forth cable. I'm like, I want to make sure what I'm thinking is like absolutely true. And I'm not sure if it has to do with the actual circuitry within the headphone amp. However, I'm not going to argue the fact that it does open things up. Yeah, and that's dude. That's like the majority of what my latest upgrade have been in here and discoveries so far. And yeah, I'm pretty content with where everything is at right now.
Yeah, right on, bro. I have one question for you.
Do you? Oh my goodness.
I know. I'm just coming at you with it this time.
It's all good.
You know how you know, we've been doing this for a while, so we've acquired you know, different types of speakers and you know, different types of cables, panels and whatnot. So you know, for the listeners out there who are maybe just starting off and don't have you know the budget necessarily to go and cop some of these higher end things here, what would you recommend somebody for acoustic treatment if they only had about $200 to spend?
Oh, so check this out. I had recently changed some panels in here. Like, I mean, they're the same size. I'm going to just bust the camera out. So I put some panels in the corner. There's 2 in the corner. There's 2 in that corner.
Beautiful. There's
1 on the bottom there. There's 1 on the bottom down there. Can't see it. But I paid $82 for all 6, fabric, wood, and all. And I'm one to love to save money too, man. I mean, straight up, I for $86 or 83, it was like 82 and change, dude. I ended up getting it was like a 6-panel. I know it was a green wrappers at Home Depot. It was like $47 for the insulation. The 1x3s were like, I don't know, $1.30 a piece. And literally for less than $200, you can build 6 of these panels, and they're heavier too. Like, they're heavier than the last ones. And you know, it's not always the cheapest insulation, and yeah, sure, they're only 16 inches wide, but they're still 4 feet tall. You place 1, 2, 3, you get 6 of them, right? You know, so you get 1, 2, 3, put 1 in each corner, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means you have 4 left. What are you going to do? Cloud panel, 2 to the side, or like cloud panel, or double cloud panel and 2 to the side. I mean, like, for $200, you can make your room sound sick. And, you know, I wouldn't even go the diffusion route. And truthfully, if you go on Craigslist and you look up insulation, some guys are getting rid of their attic stuff, like just moving and throwing that stuff away. I picked up like 10 bags of this pink insulation in plastic bags, and I shoved them in corners. It doesn't look pretty. In fact, it's pretty fucking ugly. But
yes,
you know, yeah, dude. I mean, function over form. And there's like bags I have just in the corner right here, but I can notice just a slight tightness of where I'm sitting of the low end. You know, it's not boomy. The thing is, you know, it's not going to be direct. It's not going to be like, it's subtle, but it's noticeable. And I think that noticeability definitely plays a part, especially when you're actually in that production or mixing process. And it just doesn't bounce back at you so fast. And and plus this fabric I'm using, it's landscape fabric, dude. You get a roll of that 50 yards for like $25. And I mean, forget going to the fabric store and getting like burlap, you know. If you're on a budget, dude, don't spend $5 a yard to get something like,
Is it a breathable fabric?
It's pretty breathable, man. I can put my mouth on it and feel my breath on the other side. And
who don't know, the reason why I'm asking if it's breathable is because when you're constructing a panel, or when you're in the market for one and you want to buy one, you want to make sure that it's breathable so that the top end doesn't reflect. So you know, if it's breathable and you could breathe air through that fabric,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the sound frequencies could go through the fabric, not come back and effectively get absorbed.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. That's very, very, very true. I think, they do stand the trial of test. Like I have these panels back here. They're not as breathable as the landscape fabric. That's what I know for sure, because like, I mean, even in a listening test, I had those on the wall and I'm like, whoa, that actually sounds tighter, like where I'm sitting. Right now I have like these huge panels I've had for years, and that is actually some sort of burlap material style material. And that one is probably the best material I have, but that was also a steal of a deal just that one time. And I think I did pay a little bit more for it, and was like, you know what? I want to build them good. I want to build them solid. And that was when I first did them. And I scored those things for like $2 a sheet. So I bought 25 of them. So that was a one-time deal. And I've never seen anything like that on Craigslist ever since. So if you're just doing it like, yo, I want to build some panels like today, go to Home Depot, I think it's not Safe and Sound. It's like one level up. I know it's a green logo. I think it's still Owens Corning, but it's green, like forest green wrapping color around it. And you know what? I got an itch. I need to look right now. So Home Depot insulation, and it's rated as R19, but really what matters is like the pounds per cubic foot, right? That density. And yeah, it sounds so much tighter in here. I think it's where you at though? Come on, screen share. I'll screen share it to you. Why not? So the peoples can see it.
Absolutely.
All right. So I got this.
Density is super important. Sometimes gets a little overlooked. The density of the materials.
Right. For sure. Yeah. And I think it's this.
Is that it?
I think this is 93. Let's see. That might be. That might be. No, because that's 93. They do update their stock. I've noticed that from time to time. Home Depot, Bollinger. Yeah, that's exactly where I went to. If there were 6 pieces, then yes, that's right. Where is it at? 7 pieces. This is different. But the key is density, man. I must have scored that one day because I don't see it on here anymore.
Yeah.
And even this, I see this like come and go, and it really is just check their spec sheet, check the density. I mean, look at that. They have 23 by 93, but this is pink fluffy, right? And if it's rigid, and truthfully, man, I mean, what is this? 15 by 93? That's probably even a better price than what I paid. Because 93, that's 8 feet, right? 2x4 walls. Yeah, 90. Well, it's almost 8 feet. It's shy of 8 feet. And is this pink fluffy? That is pink fluffy. It wasn't pink fluffy. That's what I know. But literally just check your local spot, man. And that's really the key. Check the local spot, check out specs, get something heavy, and go from there. So for literally, if I had gotten to that store that day and spent $200, I would have had a ball. But I also had to get hooks, and hooks are like $5. You know what I mean? So I mean that still fits under the budget. Yeah. Panels though, man, absorption. Do it. Get in the corners. Do it. Call it a day. No dilly dally. And if you want to spread the corners, you know what I mean? You can take 2 panels per a 3-inch thick, because they're 3 inches thick corner. So it's like 16 by 32 by 4 feet. Straddle that bugger, and that would sound pretty damn sick. Right. Yeah.
People find that useful.
I hope so too, man. I think so, dude. Like, I love helping people trying to figure out some solutions for whatever they're trying to spend, man. Whether it's a treatment or gear or anything like that, dude. And anytime I see somebody post about trying to figure out what to get, I'm just like, here's the information you need, man. You know, make an educated decision, not a, suggesting. Anyhow, long story short, I love doing that stuff. And yeah, I'm excited for your move, man. I'm excited to get you back on and hear some of the new spot. We're gonna get you back on here again, dude, for sure.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Maybe I can film some stuff for you guys.
Yeah.
And show you some of the process. I'm not going to be like, putting holes in the walls quite yet, or doing any like permanent fixtures. But I'll show you what you can do with very little, and how we can achieve some results by some trial and error and some test results.
Dude, record it as much as you can, man. Just set the camera up, boom, and just let it fly. Start placing things and updates, and oh yeah, dude, that would be so awesome.
Right on.
Yeah. So what's the name of the game for the rest of the day, man? You got today off?
I have today off. I'm actually gonna go see the spot today. I'm just gonna grab something to eat real fast, and then I'm gonna head over there.
Grind.
And, it's still not final, but we're just working out the kinks, seeing if everything's agreeing. And if it's not this spot, it's gonna be another one. But so either way, soon, I'll be sharing with everyone, my journey on getting this new setup going. So,
word. Well, keep me updated, man. I wish you the best of luck in that. I'm sure it's gonna be mad fun. So,
hell yeah. That's right.
In the meantime, I think we'll wrap it up, man. We've been on for a good chunk of time. So thank you all for watching this long video with your boy Animus, dude. I am the Buckness, and this is another episode of Audio Talks, and I'm going to keep the ball rolling. And you can find both of us everywhere on all social medias, man. SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook, the whole nine, dude. Find our music and stay tuned for later. Peace.